She's a singer, songwriter, graphic designer, and fine artist who believes music and art can transform your life. My cousin, Free Benjamin, joins me next on an all-new RXG Exclusives. We must open up our minds and take a look inside. I bet we find we hold all the answers tonight.
You're watching the award-winning RXG Exclusives, hosted by award-winning actor and award-winning filmmaker Robert X. Golphin.
Find we hold all the answers tonight. When she's not gracing stages globally, my guest is channeling her creative juices into designing posters for movies like my own, Beautiful Man in the Buff. She's also a graphic guru, crafting magazine spreads, CD covers, brochures, posters, signs, books, and more. Her clientele? Oh, just an impressive bunch, from the legendary Dick Gregory to Black Notes, and from bright minds at Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science to Ayanna Van Zant, who calls my guest, quote, a walking, living, breathing demonstration of creative genius and excellence. Wow. I'm so proud to welcome Free, a passionate DC-based multi-talent who just happens to be my blood. What's happening, cousin?
Hey, what's up, bruh? How you doing today?
Better since you're here.
Boomerang, brother.
Let's start at the beginning. When and how did music and art first impact your life?
Well, when folks ask me how long have I been singing, my answer is always, I don't recall not singing.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I like to be.
That's always been a part of my life and started out in the church, as most Black folk do.
Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning.
And as far as art, that's always been a part of my life. I remember being in elementary school, and we got magazines like Right On, and I forgot some of the rest, but there was an ad in it to draw this picture and mail it in, and you could win some money. And I did it, and I got a check for $10. And I was so excited, and I was like, okay, that's my first job. So that's how the gang started.
That's amazing. Well, from my earliest memories, my aunt, your mother, embraced the art of song. I had a karaoke machine as a kid, and I still have a cassette tape somewhere of Lila doing what only Lila can do vocally. So you get it honest, as they say.
I hear that.
Okay. How did your parents impact your growth as an artist and an individual?
Well, as an individual, both of my parents instilled in us independence and value and pretty much following your passion.
She gave me two beautiful daughters, and I wouldn't take anything for them.
And that's exactly what I did, and that's how I roll to this day. As far as mom and the music piece, that didn't come out until I was grown. I remember being at home on Sunday morning, and we would be getting ready to go to church, and I would hear downstairs, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo," and me and my sister would be like, God, I wish she would please stop doing that. And then later on, bam, here comes this flourishing vocalist. She be getting her own gigs now.
Yeah. Well, Free, there are many folks who can sing, play instruments, dance, draw, paint, act. But how does one take a love for the arts and transform it into a successful career as you have?
Well, I can't say that my love for the arts, I turned it into a successful career. it was a natural evolution to do what I was passionate about and what I loved. So if you want to call that turning it into a successful career, okay.
Well, now the industry and society tend to slap labels on music and artists, but how do you define your musical style? And tell me about some of your influences, known or unknown.
I really don't consider myself to be in this matrix of the music industry per se. But I can give you some of my influence. My number one influence above all is Rochelle Farrell. That's like my top right there. And she's actually given me some advice. And one of the things I asked her one time, because I always get nervous, right? And I asked her, I was like, do you ever get nervous when you're performing? And she said, not when I'm prepared. And I'm usually prepared. So that's something that I strive for in my performances. And hopefully one day I'll be at that stage where I won't get nervous.
So nerves, but not necessarily stage fright, or is that the same thing?
No, it's not stage fright. It is nerves. Because I'll even feel like, okay, I got this. And as soon as I hit it, then the nerves start. And sometimes I can hear it in my voice, and sometimes I can't necessarily hear it in my voice. Even though most people say they didn't hear it, but I know.
I was going to say, anytime I've seen you perform, I have not sensed it, but obviously you would know yourself better than anyone else. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, let's talk about your musical partner in crime, none other than Ayanna Gregory, daughter of the legendary Dick Gregory. You both are a dynamic duo, to say the least.
And it feels so good.
Please spill the tea on how this sisterhood and musical partnership came to be and why it's so special to you.
Well, at this point, we just straight up family. That's my sister. And our messages and our music are very similar, which makes it a lot easier and it makes it a natural progression. And then we have that vocal contrast. She's got that kind of cool, low, gritty vibe sometimes. And I have the higher tones. And when those frequencies marry, sometimes we create some magic. A lot of the times, our vibe is so connected that we'll do a song that we've been doing for years. And it's not even planned, but the song can take on a new life just like that. And now it's just, that's my sister,
And how did the families initially connect?
We were both a part of a group called 2000 Black. And we actually met at a 2000 Black CD release party. It was really funny because when I met her, she said that Dick Gregory, her dad, he didn't even know that she sang until she became an adult. And I just thought that was hilarious.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then after that particular event, from that moment, we just became tight and started working together. I sing in her band, and we have some songs that we've written together. And we also do healing circles in our community, and we go to hospitals sometime and play for patients and just kind of spread that healing vibration and frequency.
Well, you mentioned her father not necessarily knowing she could sing until later. Let's take it back just a moment. Were you singing around the house as a kid? I know you mentioned singing in church, but was it a constant thing?
it was a constant thing. You know, we had a piano, which actually just left the house about 2 years ago. And I took piano lessons when I was younger for a very short amount of time. I wasn't really into the lesson piece, but I did love to play the piano by ear. And some of my first songs were actually written on piano, even though I don't play piano per se. Because even one of the songs that I did that was recorded, I wrote it on the piano. And then when I went into the studio to record it, I had a real pianist record the song. Because I would have been in the studio for like a week, starting over and starting over and starting over. And yes, I was always writing songs. And then 2004, I was on the phone talking to my other sister, Lynn, which is my other Gregory sister. And she was playing a guitar while I was on the phone with her. She was literally playing 2 chords. And I was like, oh man, Lynn, that sounds so beautiful. I was like, can you please, this was when tapes were out. I was like, can you please record that and send it to me? And so I never got the tape, but anyway, maybe like a week later, Ayanna said, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, a guitar. But I actually wasn't really serious, but I got the guitar.
Wow.
And it was an instant love affair that has not subsided to this day.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
beautiful. Well, you know, I took lessons on the piano as a kid, and then my teacher got sick, and so I kind of stopped. You already know, but people tell me I have piano fingers. I can play a couple of things, but nothing major. And then I got a guitar for Christmas several years ago, and I still haven't learned to play it yet. So I need to maybe take some lessons from you.
Do you play it at all?
The guitar?
Yeah.
No, I sometimes strum the strings, but nothing digestible at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. But maybe you know, if I learn it, we'll do a duet someday. Who knows?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Even if you don't learn it, we can still do a duet.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, our line of work can be a roller coaster of drama, stress, and unhealthy living. You've always been intentional about your diet and using art to affect spiritual well-being. How do you juggle healthy eating and a balanced life? And is this a particular journey that is ever evolving?
It is ever evolving because I became vegan in 1993. And, you know, when I started out, I'm thinking I'm doing healthy things, but in retrospect, some of the things that I was eating back then, I don't eat today. And I try to tell people that ask me about my journey, if you're going to start the journey, please do your research and don't start out being a junk food vegan when all you eat is like French fries. And even though that I didn't do that, but I'm just saying I see a lot of that French fries and bread and, you know, things like that. A lot of fried foods. But I eat, for the most part, I try to eat healthy and eat things that I feel are right for me. I try to feed myself physically and spiritually so that I nourish my spirit is equally as important as nourishing my physical body, which includes nourishing my soul. And that looks like meditation, dancing, going to the park, traveling, playing my guitar, which is a total meditation within itself. I can sit down and, even when I first started, I could sit down and start playing at like 7 o'clock in the evening and 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll still be doing it. And I can literally just be playing 3 chords or the same thing all over again. And the thing about that, which I still feel is instrumental in my playing the guitar, is that even though I'm playing the same thing over and over, and it can be very simplistic, it allows you to acquire that muscle memory because you're just doing it kind of repetitively. You don't have to look at your hands so much like every time. I remember when I first started playing, and the first gig that I got, it was at nighttime and it was dark. It was outside. And that's when I realized you really need to get that muscle memory thing going on, because I couldn't see my fingers. And I was so used to being able to look at what I'm doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm, when it comes to food, a sugar addict. Even the foods like pasta and rice that break down into sugar. So it's definitely something I try to work on. But it's hard. We've got Southern blood in our veins. It's a difficult thing.
I'm so glad that I never was that heavy on the sweets. But I know that the mac and cheese now, I was heavy on the mac and cheese. And that dairy and that mucus buildup, definitely, I'm so glad. That was definitely a plus. Because being a vocalist, you definitely don't want the mucus when you're trying to sing and start getting something caught up in your throat and then your whole sinus passages. And even the soy cheeses, they still create mucus, So I don't really delve into too much of that. I'm not saying that if I want something every once in a while, I'll indulge myself. I'm not going to just say I want something and feel like I'm depriving myself of it. But, I try to
Moderation.
balance it out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, briefly going back to your graphic design leg of your career, what's the most meaningful project you've worked on? I know that's like asking about all your babies, but what's one that
I
comes
can
to
actually name 2.
Okay.
One is when I was entrusted with the task of doing the homegoing celebration of life service for Baba Dick. And I'm asked to create something for a man who was so loved by the world and sacrificed so much for all of us. And to be given that kind of gift, that was definitely an honor. It was like I was creating something that was a gift that keeps on giving. And decades and centuries from now, someone can pick up that piece and learn about a man who was one of our heroes.
Give it up for my sister Free, y'all.
And the second would be, I was commissioned to do a mural by Egyptologist Tony Browder. He's also an historian, a cultural historian, educator, an artist himself, a publisher, author. And he asked me to do a piece called From the Nile to the Potomac, which spans about 8,000 years of African history. And that was pretty intimidating when he asked me to do it. I was like, why are you asking me to do this? But I took on the challenge and I did it. And one of the main reasons why he wanted to do this piece is because there's the museum downtown, the big African-American museum. And when you go there, you can learn a lot. And there's a lot of important history in that building. However, you would think that our history started with slavery. And he wanted to emphasize the fact that it certainly did not. That was such a small, minute piece of our history. And you can view that piece at the Thurgood Marshall Center in Washington, D.C. on the second floor. And we're actually still working on some additional pieces to be a part of that exhibit.
Well, Free, I said at the top you've performed all over the world, and I know you don't really identify as being a part of the quote unquote mainstream music industry, but a lot of artists feel like they have to go overseas to get respect. What have you seen as an artist as you've traveled all over, giving your gifts to the world, as far as audiences and the response?
Well, I feel like I've seen, first of all kinds of audiences, large, small, and I feel like I present messages that are relatable to most people, because most of my music is all of my music is very spiritual. It's positive. And most of it was certainly written initially for me. However, it's relatable to a lot of people. And I remember the first time, actually, I've only done this song one time in public. It's called The Beautiful Ones. I was in Philly, as a matter of fact. I forgot the name of the event that I came up there to do at one of those coffee houses. Do you remember that? And it was a song that I wrote called The Beautiful Ones, and I wrote it when one of my friends had gotten murdered in DC. And the song is pretty much about, if you knew the soul of this person that you just took his life, could you have done that anyway? And there was this lady in the audience, and she had just lost her child. And the way she just went on and on about how that song affected her and made her feel. And it's those kind of moments that keep me doing what I'm doing, because it's reciprocity in full effect, you know. And one of the ladies at the cancer center where I perform at monthly, she stopped one day before she was leaving her treatment, and she said, "Thank you so much. That was beautiful, and you made my day." And that in turn made my day. You know, so it doesn't matter whether it's an audience of 10,000 or an audience of 3. It's about putting that message out into the universe and that frequency into the universe, and it just comes right back and then goes back out and comes right back, and we just keep shifting like that.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, Free, can you tell the people something about you that most people don't know?
Well, I can say this. A lot of people that know me don't even know that I do, like people that come to my shows, they don't know that I do visual arts. And then some people that are my visual art clients, they don't know that I'm a musician. And when they find out, it's like, some of them kind of find it unbelievable, but I don't really know why.
Like you're incapable of doing more than one thing. I mean, we all have to do more than one thing these days.
Exactly. And I guess when they see you do what you do, I don't know. I wish I could think of something else.
No, but I like that answer. I mean, that's real, you know. Well, as we wind down, Free, from your perspective, what do you think the state of the mainstream music industry is, and how can it improve? Whether it's for women or people of color, or should artists just stay indie?
Ooh. Well, I will say this. There's a lot of music out there to me that's just trash or bad or and the thing about it is people can do what they want to do. But when you have music out there that's just spooling a whole bunch of negativity, and that's the thing that our young people are listening to, that's not cool at all. However, the indie piece is more prominent now than it was, years ago. It's allowing people to get their music heard that is doing some phenomenal music that you would never hear if they weren't able to either put it out there themselves or write, social media, because they're not going to get signed by a record company because record companies are not looking for those kind of artists. They're looking for the artist that is fooling the bullcrap. But I also feel like it also is not allowing those folks or the indie folks, the way the music industry is right now, to survive and live off of their craft, which is a shame. And I don't understand. I need to dive deeper into it because I don't understand how folks are streaming all of this music and the artists aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
It's like I heard somebody say the other day, the math ain't mathing. And I'm hoping that this whole frequency just turns around and people realize we need to support indie artists so they can make that their career and not do things that they don't want to do or that they're not passionate about. Because I do believe that when you do what you came here to do, that the money will follow. I do believe that. Because it ain't always about the money.
Right.
However, it is satisfying and wonderful to be able to focus on your craft, create new music, and not have to worry about, oh, I can't do that right now because I don't have time because I have to go work this job that is depressing me and that's making me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be some balance there.
Amen to that.
Something I remember, I think it was Wayne Dyer that said it. And I think about it when I'm procrastinating. He said, don't die with your music inside of you. And that's something that I want all of us to, we have these passions and some people are just not doing their thing. You have people that are so talented and there's so many things that they want to do. And it doesn't have to be singing or art or graphics or any of that. Just that thing that's burning inside of them. And they're scared. They're not doing it. So I want to say to everybody out there, it doesn't have to be music. You can switch out whatever it is for you. But don't die with your music inside of you.
Perfectly said. Well, you can learn more about Free at freebenjamin.com. And this has been a delight. It's always a joy to be in your company.
Ashe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. I was looking forward to this. We've been trying to do it for what, like 2 years now?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's God's timing.
Exactly. Sister, love is so good to know that I got your back and you got mine. Days and years go by, collecting memories that make us laugh and sometimes cry. Sister, love is so powerful, it's beautiful, so spiritual. It's a different kind of love. I trust you like I trust me. You give me honesty like nobody else. Sister, love is so powerful, it's beautiful, so spiritual. It's a different kind of love. Life's so unpredictable, we never know how long we'll be around. While we're here, we gon' celebrate. Sister, love is so powerful, it's beautiful, so spiritual. It's a different kind of love. Sister, love, powerful, spiritual, beautiful. Sister love, powerful. Sister love, beautiful. Sister love, spiritual. Sister love, powerful, beautiful. Sister love.
Make sure to like, comment, and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so you never miss out. RXG Exclusives, hosted by Robert X. Golphin, now playing.